Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engaged. Engaged. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, we are engaged once again right here on Operation Status Quo. I'm engaged to you, you're engaged to me, and together we are engaged. Hey-o. Might as well start with one of those. How you guys doing out there today? I hope everybody's feeling good and having a good time as we move ever closer to the holiday. Holiday. Well, it is the holiday season, but the holiday itself, as far as Christmas goes, just a week and a day away, right? That'll be next Thursday. A week from today is Christmas Eve. And it's funny because I was kind of half in, half out on doing a show today. Well, I wasn't half in, half out. I was going to do a show, but then I was thinking, am I really going to do a show next week because it's Christmas Eve? So I was going to do like my Christmas thing this time, but I said to myself, you know what, darn it, no, I'm a man of the people. I love the people. You're the people. I say this all the time. That's why we're here together on Operation Status Quo. Hey-o. How can I let you go like that, especially so close to Christmas, and not give you another show? Oh my gosh! But I love you guys out there. I am Pete Palma. This is Operation Status Quo. I'm your user-friendly host, of course, broadcasting live from the comfy confines of my very own home. This is the place where we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the status quo of life, and then most importantly, we create our own flow of quo, because that's the only way to go. So, what are you doing out there right now to create your own flow of quo? You know the deal. Let me know in the comments below, because if you're not living your flow of quo, you most certainly are living someone else's flow, and that is just especially during the holidays. Give yourself a gift of not living someone else's flow, right? It's a no-no right here on Operation Status Quo. So yeah, anyway, I'm just going to get into it today a little bit. Today is the hey, let me give a round of applause. Oh my God, he's just going to get into it. He's just going to start talking about something instead of rambling on for 30 minutes about nothing. Hey-o. You guys know, and again, if you're new here, this is the live stream of consciousness. I like to create this space in such a manner that I am just basically speaking how I'm speaking, just whatever's kind of coming to my mind and through, and what the universe wants me to share at that moment, and whatever. Hopefully, it's beneficial. But it doesn't even have to be beneficial. I just hope it's entertaining. So it's somewhat enjoyable to your little eardrums out there. Bum ba da dum bum 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 bum. Ba-da-dum-bum. That's the little drummer boy. I was trying to get into that. But anyway, let me not get off track, because I just said how good I was doing staying on track. Today is the 17th of December in the good year 2025, and today's program is entitled The Kid in Me. That's right. I was kind of reflecting of just like all these changes that are going on in our world today, and it really reminds me of when I was a kid, basically, and how everything I thought since as long as I can remember thinking, and how it's playing itself out and showing itself in today's world is really amazing to me. And I'll give some like examples a little bit of me being a kid and everything. But the number one thing, I guess, to lead into it, just to say, I vividly remember being in my single digit years. And I guess it was like, I don't know, it was like the late 70s. So I'm just going to use 1978. I'm not sure. It was somewhere right around there. But it was a New Year's Eve, and I guess I was up, for New Year's Eve. I wonder why my parents, at that time, I'm thinking, why'd you let me stay up till midnight? But kids stay up till midnight sometimes for that. I was always up late anyway. Here we go on a tangent already. I was always watching Saturday Night Live as a young kid when I shouldn't have been, sneaking downstairs and turning it on back in the day when, it was John Belushi and, all those guys when it first started. But I digress from that if I could. But I remember on New Year's Eve, I was with my grandfather, and I had said, it changed over the year. And I said, so, it's never going to be 1978 again. And he went, no, it's like, it's, blah, blah, blah. And I just remember that as a kid, like as a moment of, because we're as an example to the programming of our societal structure, not just our societal structure in regards to the mainstream narratives that we're fed, and how we're kind of taught and guided how we should live our lives and what is a good life. But just remembering that thought as a young child, in a sense of realizing the parameters of our physicality and our existence, because like to me all these things never made sense, as far as, I mean, even regarding that, it's all about the programming of our society, how we actually are taught and understand what time and space really is, right? I'm just saying, like, as a kid, it's just real simple. So 1978's over, now it's 1979, and that's it, and that's it, and that's it. It's never going to be back again. And, we were it's so ingrained in us from such a young age of the little box that we're living in as far as how we are to structure and build our lives. It's really something because you think, when I'm thinking back to this as a kid, I know it's like a crazy simple little story, but like, I'm thinking back to this as a kid and how much it made me think about, just like, what we were, because, you're not really thinking that's what you are. You're not really thinking in those terms as a child, right? You still have more of the spiritual stuff in you until, they beat it out of you through the school system and everything, and everything else too. Your parents beat it out of you physically, and the school beats it out of you mentally and emotionally, I guess, and intellectually as well. So, but seeing what's going on in the world today, to me, is like such a projection, and why I feel like, and I'm saying the kid in me, I'm calling it the kid in me today, because the kid in me feels liberated and happy to see all the changes that are happening. Because although they look detrimental, I talk about this all the time, and things look like it's upheaval. It's not really upheaval. It's really just more people are becoming aware of how messed up everything has been for generations past. It's like, not for anything, like one of the things that gets me a lot of times of people being so animated towards the politics and stuff. And it's just like, guys, it's been the same, like, all the way along. It's not just because of this one person that's president now and is messing everything up, and how people get so divided over that. And, I'm big into not giving into the system in any regard whatsoever. Not because, like, not because you don't like this one person, but you still believe in these other politicians and such. And the truth is, the whole system is the same, right? And I think a lot, and the reason why, again, that we're seeing so much, we want to say whatever disruption in society, or just people not flowing in the way they did with the way things were before, is because more people, consciousness is rising, whether people are aware of it or not. And some people are going to choose to go deeper into it. Other people are going to choose to not try to face certain things. But either way, it's just like anything else. You can't stop a tree from growing unless you cut it down, I guess, right? Or poison it. But at the same time, it's just like part of the process of the physicality and the growth of nature and such, so that our consciousness is growing and evolving, and in different ways, people are seeing what's going on, basically, and it's bringing more, not because more people are seeing it, it's bringing more attention to it. It's becoming more of a general focus. And again, like, I'm getting a little off track. But I'm trying to stay on track for you. But we're getting a little off track. But the truth is that what we put our focus to and our attention on is what really exists. If you don't focus on it and don't put attention to it, or it's not part of in your focus, basically, it doesn't exist, essentially. So because this stuff is happening, and then it's growing exponentially in the sense of people seeing all this, and then their awareness is changing based on things that they're seeing, and it's bringing more attention. So it's like, it's just like you're blowing up that balloon, and we're just waiting for that one last, and the balloon goes, right? So, I mean, that's kind of what's going on in our world today. But it's just funny, again, like I say, when I was a kid, to me, it was obvious that our society didn't function in any sort of rational way. I mean, even just as a kid, it never made sense. I used to always say people would always just say that family or older people in my life, that's the way it is. It was always, that's the way it is. And then I would always think, it just doesn't make sense. And I know I've said this here before on the show multiple times. I say a lot of things multiple times because the message is really a simple, clear message. It's like, we are the creators, and we choose, and what we make is what we create. And unfortunately, people give their power away so easily and readily to things and structures and whatnot, other people that make them feel comfortable. And the truth is, you're never going to accomplish anything in in your life unless you do it for yourself, in a sense. And you have to believe it and do it and take the actions. And when you take the actions, then you start to get supported by the universe. The universe, in a sense, has no choice but to support you, because if you're vibrating with that frequency, then that's the frequency of what is. If you put more out of wanting to be cared for and looking for salvation outside of yourself, then you're always going to be caught in that perpetual loop of searching, waiting for that answer. But the answer essentially is never going to come, because the answer is you doing it for yourself. And like I say, when I was a kid and they would say that's the way it is, I just would say, it just doesn't make any sense. it's like, you know, a funny thing too. I always remember like watching commercials when I was a kid, and they used to, you know, buy one, get one free, or they would do a deal and they would say, you know, act now and save 20%, right? And I always would think as a kid, I'd be like, well, if I don't buy it at all, then I save 100%. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why am I even spending, you know, they make it like you're getting such a good deal. Like it was always trickery. I just like saw it like clearly as a child. That's why I was a problem child, in a sense. I wasn't a problem. My grandma would always say I wasn't, she would go like this, she goes, he's not bad. He's just mischief. She couldn't even get out mischievous, you know. He's not bad. He's just mischief. That's what she would say. But yeah, like, you know, I never went along with the rules too well. I never mean to cause a problem. It's not like I want to purposely cause a problem. But it's just that, like, well, okay, when I see this and I'm presented with something, these are my questions and these are my thoughts. But the people and our society's been trained not to even do that. Right? Like you're like a squeaky wheel. If you say, well, wait a minute, how about this? Or wait a minute, what about that? It's like, no, don't you understand? This is just how you do it. That's the way it is. And again, no, it's not the way it is. Even in work, you know, it's a shame because like people like to be in a lot of jobs. You know, I got a lot done. I was efficient all the time and everything. But I also, you know, there'd be problems sometimes because I'd speak up, you know, for myself. I wouldn't, you know, I'm not a yes man. I'm really sorry, but I'm not. I can remember one time vividly. I don't know why I said vividly, but I do remember it vividly. But it's not like I shouldn't. It wasn't that long ago. I was working my government job back in the day, and I had an order that I had to do for one of our customers, and he was coming to my desk like, you know, every day asking me about the order, and like, you know, I told him from the beginning, I said, this is how long it takes, this is where I am with it, it should be done by, you know, this time. I said, I'll keep you updated. And then he comes the next day and he asked me again, and then I got a little agitated, and I told the guy, I said, listen, I just want to make this clear. I said, I don't function well, you know, with people micromanaging me like that. I said, no, I explain to you where we are in the process. I can't make it go any faster. This is what I'm doing. It'll be done. You know, I told him. And the next day he comes back again, right, asking me. And that's when I went a little ballistic. I got to get my cuckoo clock. Hold on a second. I got to get where's that? Yeah, I went a little cuckoo. I said, I turn around and I go, listen, his name was Mike, that guy. Listen, Mike, I said, didn't we just talk about this yesterday? I said, I don't need you coming over here every 10 minutes asking me the same damn question. Now, I told you the order's going to be done. I don't need to know every time you sneeze. You know what I mean? I just like went crazy. And then, of course, I get in trouble, right? Like, I get in trouble. Like, this is what I'm talking about, like, of like, you know, is why you have to have the perseverance to live true to yourself, you know, because these situations have it. You know, I get in trouble because I yelled at the guy, you know, but like, did I not for 2 days, 3 days in a row tell the guy, blah, blah, blah? Did I not set a boundary and speak with him face to face and say, you know, trying to let him understand my space and say, this is where I am and this is what, have I ever not gotten an order done for you before? Have I not always gotten these orders done? Why are you doing this, right? Because somebody else is asking him, you know, and he's got to answer to somebody else, and he doesn't have the balls to tell somebody it's getting done. They got to come down every single day. It's like, I'm not going to wiggle my nose and it's going to get done any quicker than what it was going to get done. This is the process, and it is what, you know, it is what it is. Like, if I had control over it, I'd click the button today and it'd be done. Believe me, it'd be a lot easier for me and it'd be a lot easier for you. I wouldn't have to see you at my desk every day if I could just click the button and get it done. But unfortunately, the bureaucracy and the system in which we work in doesn't operate that way. So this is the best I can do, and it's going to be done. But anyway, I got tried. Then, of course, they never even gave me another one of his orders after that. That's it. I never had you know what's funny about working for the government? as an aside, like the more you stand up for yourself and question things and say things and blah, 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 the more they shift you off to less and less, which is like, I worked with this one guy he was such a jerk, right? He was, anyway, I'm not going to get into the whole story about it, but he wound up with a supervisory position, and the people that were working under him, they couldn't stand him, and they were always, complaining down to HR about and all this stuff, and rah, rah, rah. So, he had such a bad, reputation and everything, and so many complaints. So you would think, wow, somebody like that, they probably would have to, reprimand or do something to rectify the situation. Yeah, but this is how the government rectifies the situation. They actually created, so crazy, right? They created another branch, another group, and put him in charge of that, and then put no one underneath him. So they actually created a separate job that he can do with nobody else, so that he can continue. And I'm just saying, why not? This is what I mean, like, right? Like, but why can we not say what's what and just be real and find a way to work, instead of like, everybody wants to just be in the same pool floating together, like everybody just floats and doesn't swim. Everybody's stuck in the same pool and they just float and they don't swim. It's like, I want to swim. I'm swimming. If you're going this way, I'm going that way. It's just the way it has to be. But yeah, I don't know. And it's all talking about, like, and again, like, I think more people, why is it so hard now, even too, for people to find employees and such in certain regard? I see a lot of jobs people don't even want to work, or this or that, because like, just people are just seeing things in a different way, and are not for anything too. Our technologies and such have changed so much, where means of work are different than they were before, and they're going to continue to change as AI continues to accelerate and such. What that'll bring, how it'll shape out, or what. I just always thought, it's just every way we did everything was just always ridiculous. It's just like everything's the same. It's like, you do this on Monday, you do that on Tuesday, you do this in December, you do this in October. It's just always like the same, and it's just like this pattern of programming that's like, and I feel what's happening again. I'm just kind of trying to round it back in. I'm happy as a clam personally to see all our structures, whether it be our government is so screwed up. Not just our government, just governments in general. So it's not even about. It's just about the institution itself of government and how it operates and how it's oppressive towards people. For anyone out there that believes in any government, that they're doing anything on your behalf in any regard, or actually really trying to solve issues, I mean, I don't know what world you're living in. You're not living in this world. Like, I don't even feel like I'm living in this world. Quite honestly, I say, what the hell am I even doing here? None of this makes sense. There's no way people would operate in such a way to not make things work cohesively, to not work in conjunction with the patterns of nature, our universe, the moon and the sun. Like, everything's against. We try to do everything we can. Again, we're going to change the clocks here, but make this time, change the clocks there, make this time. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same hours in the day, right? It's the same hours no matter what. The sun's going to go up and come down. It's always going to be the same. So why are we adjusting clocks and stuff? Well, it's just, understand what I'm trying to say? Everything is something to, and think about how that makes people feel when you adjust clocks and stuff. People are hungover, kind of like from the time change, and, especially if you lose the hour, then you're like tired because you didn't get your right sleep, and all of a sudden it's the middle of the afternoon when yesterday it was dark. I don't know. And then it's just goofy to me. Like, everything is just done in this way of keeping people all discombobulated, instead of bringing one cohesive unit together as humanity. And that's not to take away from our individuality and everything. I think it should be even more so. I think in a collective, meaningful way, we should shine and express our individuality as vibrantly as possible, because that is what makes the totality of it all so beautiful. But it has to be done with an understanding of each other, and in a space where we give each other space to be ourselves. Again, and if we're working in a certain way, it's not. I know I'm saying all this, and it's not going to be perfect, because there's always a level of duality, and there's always choices that the soul makes on different levels, and it's never going to be a utopia, but if we can just at least get the majority of humanity, in a sense, to contemplate and operate from a space of giving space and allowing others to be, even those who seem to do nefarious things or seem to have negative ways in their life, instead of making that grow instead of feeding that and trying even to fight it, because you're never going to be able to fight it. It's always going to be part of what is humanity. But how it plays out and how it's received and how those who operate in those ways, what comes back to them and such, right, it could all be different. Instead of having to prove it and fight against it, you see it, and someone who's more in tune in certain ways will see it and be like, okay, I understand that this is the frequency in which this situation or person or what is operating. So I don't have to, again, feed it. I don't have to give myself into that, right? I realize that they have to find their way to, that higher space, and whether it be this lifetime or not, or never, or whenever, it's like not really my concern. My only concern and how I live my life is being mindful of my thoughts, and even being aware of times that I do want to feed into certain things and saying, is that productive? Is it productive for me to tell this person this? Do I need to say this? Does it need to be said? Is it helpful if I say it? Am I saying it really just to satisfy my own ego? Like, there's a couple situations currently, in my life that I'd like to reach out to a couple people and say a few things. And sometimes I think of it in a way of like, well, maybe I could just talk to this person and, explain, this is what I feel. Then I say to myself, but what am I really doing by that? Like, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to start telling them what I think they did, in a way, not that they did anything to me, because I look at everything as a reflection and a learning, but I'm going to say these certain behaviors led me in a way to feel this, and then that person, they're going to even understand, they're going to have like some great awakening. The only way it ever works, I realize, is that like someone has to kind of reach out to you, in a sense. Like if there's like anything, if there's a falling out, I don't even want to say if there's a falling out, just in general, like if people aren't reaching out to you in some sort of equal capacity or want you to be in their life or anything like that, it's not worth ever chasing in a way. And a lot of times, like I had one instance with a person that I was good friends with, and we had worked together numerous times, and then anyway, the guy had, I don't want to get into the whole story, but the thing was, like, I realized certain aspects of his personality just weren't jiving, and he was like being a certain way, and it wasn't healthy for, communication. I'm just going to try to keep it real vague. And then he kept reaching out to me, and I talked to him the one time, gave him, the opportunity in a sense, and explained, and then he came back the next time, and he was still doing the same crap. And I think a lot of times people, especially like narcissistic, and I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but people who are kind of that way, generally they're so concerned with making sure that they have you under control, or that they'll keep coming, because they have to be satisfied that, someone else walked away or whatever. I don't know. I know now I've really gotten off track with what I was saying, the kid in me, but that's just how, that's why I say it's a live stream of consciousness. But I just mean, no, people, you know whether you're getting equal shake in your relationship or not. Are people reaching out to you to see how you're doing, or encouraging you, or want to help, or I don't know, anything like that, or just, being real with you, even if they're jerky and saying like, hey, listen, like, but at least they're real about it. Instead of always trying to put on some sort of facade of this or that and create this illusion. Like I'm not an illusion person, okay? Like I like things to be real. I speak real even here, and it's just the way it is. Like I'm looking. I did make a couple notes to try to keep myself on track, but I haven't really looked over. But it's like I realized 23 minutes. Last time I looked, it was like 6 minutes. So there you go. That's how it goes. But speaking. Kind of rounding it back into the kid in me, and just seeing society and how things are changing, and again, not ever really wanting to follow the rules. I was going to tell this story too. I guess it's story time today, because I was telling stories. But I was dating this well, I should say woman. I was ready to say girl. It's just a common thing I always say. But I was dating this woman at the time. I was actually younger then. I was like my early 20s. So maybe I could say, she was older than me though, but maybe I could say girl, because we were both in our 20s. But anyway, I would always be talking about First of all, she would always tell me, you have to follow the rules. She always said to me, you have to follow the rules. You have to follow the rules. So I was always doing stuff outside, like I do now still. If it's a rule, hold on, we got to look at it before we go any further. And then I would just always go on and on about, this is right before we broke up, before we broke up, I was going on and on about how, society and, society's, I don't want to be part of society. And, I was a little more harsh, not to say harsh, but whatever. Just a little different about things back in my younger days, right? You know how it is when you're in your 20s compared to when you're in your 50s. Like, right? If you're not there, you will know that at some point. But she got so mad at me because I kept saying about putting down society. And she was like, I am society. It's like, well, and I realized it's true, especially... I think she was an accountant. You know what I mean? You can't get any more society than working that kind of job. So, I don't know. Anyway, just that kind of stuff. I know I'm jumping around as always, but I just feel happy. I think everything is showing itself now. The world is seeing things, things are happening and people are seeing things in a different way. I'm excited for the changes that are coming. It's not always easy, but I encourage everyone out there to really be true to who you are and believe and know in yourself. And I'll give you one last story before I go, because I wasn't going to tell this one, but I will. So recently I had, and I didn't reach out for this, but I was one of the companies that does the work that I do, that I used to do, I should say, for the government, actually reached out to me to offer me a position as a contractor. And so, whatever. I mean, I really, this started back in September. That's how funny it is. That's how, that's how backwards ass the government is too and everything, but how long everything takes. So here we are in December. And I really don't want it, to be honest with you. I mean, I can care less, but I figure, well, I'm working from home. If they want to pay me, I guess I can pretend I'm doing work for a little while and at least get a couple checks and then quit, right? But anyway, so they... I got an email recently saying they wanted me to go online and do these trainings, before I start. And I was like, whoa. Oh, I don't know what world these people are living in if they think I'm going to use my personal equipment and take my personal time and do these trainings before I even I'm getting paid and I'm on the books. I don't think so, right? So during this past couple days ago, I guess the guy from the company that is trying to bring me on board called me and he's like, are you? Did you get those trainings or do you? And I said, listen, I'm going to make this. I told the guy, I said, I like you. I think you're a nice guy. I said, so I was going to make this very clear. I said, there is absolutely no way that I will do any work for the government without being paid and having a computer. I said, and he's like, oh yeah, well, he's trying to give me the excuse. And then here I go again. And I realized, and I guess I'm telling the story too, because I realize how it's really these type of jobs, I shouldn't even try to do them. It's not in my wheelhouse. It's not who I am. It's not what I would encourage others to do. And, I'm kind of glad. I really felt when this opportunity came up, I really felt like it was a test. Like this is like the universe testing me to see if I'll go back, and cower in fear and take one of these jobs. And so I'm glad that nothing's happened. And I really haven't put anything into it except for say, yeah. And they send me an offer letter and then I'm waiting to see what happens next. I mean, I might as well say yeah and see what happens. Right? But and then I told him, and he's telling me all the stuff that they are saying. I go, I said, I am a sovereign entity. I said, I am not beholden to the government. I said, I will not do anything until, and not for nothing. I worked for the government for over 15 years. They have my fingerprints a gazillion times. They know me. You could find me if you need to. So why are you hiring me if you're so worried about who I am? That's what I told them too. I said, if they think I'm valuable and they want me to do their work, then you pay me, and then I'll do something. You know what I'm saying? It's just but other people would be like, oh, I got the job. I got to do whatever they say. And that's why it makes me realize that's what it would turn into as soon as I started. They would tell me I got to be in some meeting for something to do, and I wouldn't do it. I mean, I'd be in trouble again, just like, I'd be in trouble again. So, I mean, it's better that I don't do it is what I realize, quite honestly. Oh my gosh. Heyo. But I did tell the guy, I said, I don't mean to make life, I keep saying this, I do not want to make life difficult for anyone. I told the guy, I said, I don't want to make life difficult for you or anything. I apologize for any inconvenience. I said, but in this life, all you have is yourself and your beliefs and if you don't stand up for who you are and what you represent or what, then that's it. You have nothing. So I said, I'll to my detriment, I said, I really don't care. Have the job, don't have the job. I said, it don't matter to me. I said, so you let me know, He's like, well, I'll reach out to them, but I don't think. And I said, that's fine. I said, if we're at an impasse, no big deal. You got to take me out and take me out. Like, no problem, because I'm not doing it. I said, I'm just going to make it. I said it again at the end. It's going to be, there's not much to say. I said, although I said it like 10 times because I was just so animated, but I was nice to him. But, because I told him, I said, this is not at you. I'm being passionate because this is what I believe. This is what I would tell other people. And this is what I want to be. This is why I do what I do and what I'm trying to represent. Is like, I'm going to stand up and say, you want to try to offer me a job, maybe we work it out, maybe. But no, it's not going to be like that. I'm not going to run around and kiss your ass. And I told him too, I'm not a yes man. I don't just run around and do whatever people say. You got to show me something. So, and I want to be that example, however it plays out, because I think we all have that in us, and that's what we need to do, and not in an obstinate way. I always say, not in an obstinate way. We're not trying to fight people and make life hard for anybody, but just be practical and honest and open about who you are, what you are. Know yourself, know your skills, create your life. You are the creator. Be what you want to be, and all that type of stuff. So that's what we do here on Operation Status Quo, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Hey, before we go, I'll show you real quick. We got my buddy. There's Mr. Miles sitting there today. Oh, doesn't he look so peaceful? Just relaxing. Mr. Miles, he's the real star of this show, right? So he doesn't seem to be too interested. He looks like the rest of my audience out there. Oh, my goodness gracious. All right. Hey-o. Well, that's what I have for you here today on Operation Status Quo. I'll be back next week. I'll be back on for Christmas Eve. We'll do a little some fun. We'll do some Christmas facts. That's what I like to do during those type of things. So we'll do I'll get a nice list of some fun Christmas facts, and we'll go through those and have our jollies, as it were. Okay. All right. So I thank you, as I always do, for being with me here today on Operation Status Quo. If you haven't done so, ladies and gentlemen, please take the time to like, subscribe, share, send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and of course those you despise as well. As you very well know, I love each and every one of you out there individually as well as a group. Don't forget to check out the website, pete.palma.com. Look me up on the socials and check out my shorts section here on this channel and find all the fun goodies I've been doing. I did a really fun one yesterday with Santa. It's really great. It's right now, it's like ranked up there in my top. At least there's two others that I can think of off the top of my head that are my favorites that I did. So, but that was really good. So check out. It's called Santa's Jollies. That's what it's called. So anyway, that's what I have and all that kind of stuff. I love you out there. I said that already. Until next time, Operation Status Quo disengaged.